Last week, I told you about the moment I realized I spent 40 years living for everyone else. A lot of you reached out, and the thing most of you said in different words was the same thing. I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I thought I was just being responsible, and every one of you felt that. That sentence stopped me because it was exactly what I used to tell myself. Self sabotage has a branding problem. It doesn't look like destruction, it doesn't feel like failure. It looks like loyalty, like dedication, being a good person. That's what makes it so dangerous, and that's exactly what we are talking about today. I want to share 5 signs that you might be self sabotaging and not know it. These aren't dramatic. There's no rock bottom moment, no obvious red flag. These are quiet patterns, subtle habits, things that from the outside actually look like strengths, but they are not. I know them because I lived every single one of them, and for decades, while building a career, while trying to take responsibility of family, while being the problem solver, a rescuer, um, while being the person everyone relied on. And the reason I'm sharing them is not to make you feel bad about yourself, it's the opposite. Because you cannot change a pattern you haven't named. And once you name it, everything just shifts. So if you're watching this and thinking some of this sounds like me, as in you, I want you to stay with that feeling. Don't push it away. That discomfort is the beginning of something important. Let's get into it. You put everyone first and call it being caring. For most of my adult life, other people's needs came before mine. Automatically, without thinking. Some needed help, I was there. If someone needed a favor done, someone was struggling, I dropped everything. And I genuinely believed that made me a good person. I wore it as a identity. But here's what nobody tells you about constantly putting others first. It's not selfless. When it has no limit, no boundary, no reciprocity, it's self erasure. You're erasing your identity, you're slowly disappearing, and you're calling it kindness. The question I eventually had to ask myself was, when do I make the list? When does Abhishek get to be the person who is taken care of? Caring for people is a beautiful thing, but it has to include caring for yourself. Otherwise, it's not generosity, it's depletion. You have no personal boundaries, is the second point or sign, and you call it being flexible. I didn't know what personal boundary felt like until I was 35 years old. And in the last 5 years, today I'm 40, I've learned these signs. Not because nobody taught me, but because somewhere along the way, I learned that having needs was inconvenient, that asking for space was selfish, that saying no was unkind. So I became infinitely flexible, infinitely available, and I call it being easygoing or kind. But the truth is, a life with no boundaries is a life with no shape. You become whatever whoever you are with needs you to be. And after a while, you don't know who you actually are anymore. When I started drawing boundaries, small ones at first, the reaction of some people surprised me. Discomfort, pushback, even resentment. And I realized those reactions weren't about me being unreasonable. They were about people adjusting to a version of me that actually had limits. Boundaries don't push people away, they filter to the ones which you need in your life. The right people respect them, and the ones who don't, that tells you something very, very important information. Third is you live inside other people's opinion and call it being self aware. This one took me the longest to see or ascertain or understand because it hid behind something that looked like a virtue, like a badge of pride. I cared deeply about what people thought of me. A comment from a colleague would live in my head for days. I have told this in my previous video. A look from someone in a meeting, a message left unread. I would replay conversations, analyze tone, wonder what I was saying wrong in that conversation, what impression I left. I told myself I was being self aware while I was trying to do and find these answer about other people's opinion. I was being reflective is what I told myself. But the real truth is I had outsourced my self image to everyone around me. What people think is what I am, but that's not the truth. I didn't trust my own assessment of myself, I needed theirs. Stoicism gave me the framework to start dismantling this. Marcus Aurelius wrote about it 2000 years ago. I've made a full length video. You can see that here. The idea that other people's opinion are simply not within your control, they are not yours to manage. What is yours is your values, your intentions, your actions, more than even the intentions. They both should match. That's the territory you can actually govern. The day I consciously drew this line between what someone else might think of me, and what I know about myself, that was the day I got a massive amount of energy back in myself, in what I was trying to achieve and navigate in life. Energy I had been spending for years trying to manage perceptions that were never mine to manage. Not everyone will like this version of you. Please note this. Not everyone will like this version of you. This is not a problem to solve. That is information. If someone doesn't like you having boundaries, that is information. Treat it correctly. Fourth sign is you let everything affect you and call it being sensitive. I used to feel everything at full volume. Like, um, I felt that I was a careful, kind soul who is trying to save everyone. A criticism at work would ruin my evening. A difficult conversation would replay in my mind. A passing remark would sit with me for days, weeks. I wasn't doing this on purpose. I'm not saying I was wrong to feel these things deeply. Sensitivity is not a flaw, but there's a difference between feeling something and being consumed by it. between processing an emotion and being trapped in it. I was trapped. Everything that happened to me happened in me loudly and for a long time. Let me know in the comment section if you are resonating with what I'm trying to tell you. Have you been there? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. What changes this for me was a single stoic principle. You cannot control what happens, you can only control your response to it. Simple, obvious, but when I actually started practicing it, not just thinking it, the difference was extraordinary. Something would happen that previously would have derailed my entire day, not any more. I was not being absorbed by other people's opinion. I created a gap, a deep breath, a pause between the event and my response. It's a conscious act. It's not easy. Let me tell you, it's not easy. But when you get a hang of it, when you get used to doing it, you will enjoy it. You will feel that you have your own energy back. That gap is where your power lives. In that space, you get to decide, does this deserve my energy? Is this mine to carry? This burden, this problem solving burden. Most of the time, the honest answer is a sure short no. Last sign, you people please and call it being a team player or a family man. People pleasing is the thread that runs through all of these signs. It's what drives you to put others first. It's what keeps you from setting the boundaries that you need. It's why others' opinion carries so much weight for you. It's why you feel everything so intensely, because your nervous system is constantly monitoring whether people are okay with you. um, People pleasing is not kindness. With due respect, people pleasing is not kindness. I want to say that clearly. Kindness is a choice. People pleasing is a fear response. It's the fear of disapproval, of conflict, of not being accepted in an environment. And when you act from fear, you are not being generous, you are being controlled, and your response is controlled and not in the benefit of that situation nor your boundary. And the painful irony is the people pleasing never actually works. You can never please everyone. They will always still have something or the other to criticize you, to not be grateful about. And the more you try, the more you lose yourself in that attempt to justify your actions and try to people please. The moment I stopped performing for approval or started speaking from genuine conviction, and I spoke lesser, not that I did not have an answer, not that I did not want to solve it, but I took a pause. And that pause became an act of respect from others. They did not even notice it. It was me who noticed the difference. Um, Authenticity creates authority. People can feel the difference between someone who means what they say and someone who's managing just perceptions. People are smart. People are very smart. So take that pause, take that distance between your action and what you feel to people please. So, five signs people pleasing: no personal boundaries, living inside others' opinions, emotional oversensitivity, and fifth is constant self depleting act in the name of being good, loyal, participative. How many did you recognize as a pattern in your own being? Take repetitive behaviors and identify your behavior to these five signs. If you recognized all five, I want you to hear this. That doesn't make you weak. It doesn't. It makes you someone who cared so much about people um, around you that you forgot to care about yourself. That is a beautiful impulse with a destructive pattern attached to it. And that's what we are naming today. We are taking control, my friends. The pattern is not who you are, it's what you learned, and what was learned can be unlearned. I'm not standing here having solved all of this. I'm standing here in the middle of changing it. I'm learning myself and I'm sharing what I have learned, how I have failed, how I have grown, how I have outgrown, how I have learned and unlearned some of these things. Some days are harder than others. Some old habits surface, resurface, but I am no longer unconscious of them. I recognize them, and that pattern recognition is very important, and that's all it takes to begin. Not perfection. Don't wait for perfection. Not a dramatic transformation overnight. It doesn't happen. It's just a repetitive failure loop waiting for perfection. Just the decision to stop being unconscious, to start seeing the patterns clearly, and to make one small different choice today. Next week, I want to go deeper on one of these, the opinion trap, living inside other people's judgments, because I think it's the most invisible of all the patterns that we have discussed, and the one that steals the most amount of energy out of you. I'll bring in some Stoic philosophy, specifically Marcus Aurelius, and connect it to real situations in corporate life, in personal life, in family life, friendships. Because it isn't about an abstract theory, this is practical, and it changed how I show up every single day. I feel it.